To be born English is to win first prize in the lottery of life. So said Cecil Rhodes, one of the grandfathers of British imperialism. At its height, the British Empire ruled over 1/4 of the world's population, and consequently exported Englishness to the furthest reaches of the globe. But what is Englishness? Is it stiff upper lips and fair play, village greens and tea and crumpets? And who are the English? Are we defined by a shared heritage, a common set of beliefs, by the language of Shakespeare? Or in a multicultural modern age, when more languages are spoken in England than in any other country in Europe, do we need to develop a new view of what it means to be English? To discuss and define the nature and characteristics of the English, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick, an award-winning writer.
Thank you for having me.
And Karl Pilkington, a man who, by his own admission, didn't go to school, has no qualifications.
Mention the head, talk about the head.
I'm just trying to get to the point that he's not qualified in anything, or really has no authority in any subject, or hasn't got the right to it.
Talk about the head.
And he was known the world over as a man who has a head like a fucking orange.
Right.
I think one thing that's very English is harping back and whinging combined. People saying, oh, England used to be better in my day, oh, England was better when I was a kid, England was better in the 50s or whatever. Carl, do you think England's better now? Are you happier now than you were when you were a kid?
Do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around.
So but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen happy days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, oh, you know, it was a better life in the 50s. And he's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Right. A specific year.
Why? Why was that?
It's just I was free and happy.
How old were you?
I don't know.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, you know, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through blizzards,
I loved it.
Rain, sleet, hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
like... you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in my house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
that's
all
what
the
I mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, you know, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it? 13
is your teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah, how did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, you know, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worried look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, me mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, all right. She was,
I love that he could reason with her. I love him. He's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you're going to know. She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now. Because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets were safer. Because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Lowry painting. His front garden, do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just
There was
walking
never any
around.
problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What?
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah,
But my dad's mate, Tony,
yeah.
he did tiling with him. He drove past. And he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now, the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh, God, where's Carl gone?
He's out.
Just...
How old were you?
He's down the pub.
Yeah,
He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a...
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to the pub.
That's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do. Yeah, we're all bringing ours. All right, see you later, mate.
But that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah, but
on.
I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked out the back car and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, doesn't Princess Diana look lovely? This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
then my dad came in. He was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? Go in the door, I'm just going to have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Rick, as you hinted at in your introduction, the idea of Englishness and England, it's quite a vague term, isn't it? You can play loose and fast with it. I mean, for instance, I was looking at some quotes about England, and John Major, former Prime Minister, he typified England as being a place of long shadows on county cricket grounds, warm beer, invincible green suburbs, dog lovers, and old maids bicycling through the morning mist. Very specific vision of England.
But he never came to the estate that I was born on,
Sure.
or Carl was, you know what I mean? I think, I know of that. If we go for a walk around Richmond, we see people playing cricket on the village green, and it's lovely, but I don't know if it's typical. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where most people live. But in a way, it's probably 50-50, isn't it, in cities and in the country, but that's wealthy country.
But that's, interestingly, that's the vision of England that people like to subscribe to. When you buy your nan a box of biscuits for Christmas from Harrods, that's the image of England that's on the front.
Why am I spending money at Harrods on my nan? Why can't I just, she's happy with sort of like broken custard creams.
You've earned a bit of money now.
Well,
What's
I know,
wrong
but
with that?
they don't need to know that. I mean, also, both my grandmothers are dead, so it'd be
Sorry to have brought that up.
Well, no, but I mean, who buys who spends good money at Harrods on biscuits where she just suck 'em and eat the Garibaldis and leave? I mean, I don't know why I'm wasting money on the elderly.
I worry that you've taken that too literally. I was trying to get to making more of a point, like an analogy, but I don't shop at Harrods.
Right.
Please, I mean, I might, get some Easter eggs 2 days after Easter.
Well, what do you think of this then? We were in Fortnum & Mason's after Christmas, and all the crackers were half price.
Good idea.
And there was a box of crackers for 500 quid, down to 250 quid. And I thought, right, that's got to be the best prizes anyone's ever seen. I'm going to get Cartier watches in these things. So we bought 250 quid. I thought, oh, it's a bargain. It's half price. Got 'em home, pulled a couple, and there was a little notebook, right, that said wine notes. That's one.
What?
Wine notes. So you drink a bottle of wine and go...
you'd make a note.
Make a note of it, right? There was another one that had something that it was like opera notes or something. And then there was one for, travel notes, like what country you been. I'm thinking, what world are these crackers for? Who's putting a cracker and going, I need it? I filled up my, wine notes book. It's like...
500 quid?
Yeah. I mean,
For some little notebooks?
yeah, I mean, if you'd have paid 500 quid, I mean, I don't know who buys those.
Well,
I assume they're for presents.
And
but
it's
I mean,
probably the absurd, cliched Toffington Englishman
Yeah.
who has no sense anymore of what of any sense of worth of anything, and it's just a crazy, snotty-nosed inbreeding.
There was a silver-plated like mussel, like the clam, the mussel, right? When you eat mussels, you scoop them out with an open mussel.
Sure.
There's a silver-plated one.
Who carries that with them?
You get that out. You go, all mussels. Good. I brought it with me. My silver-plated mussel to eat mussels.
Wait, this wine's delicious. Let me make a note. That's absurd. Again, it's interesting you said that, because those are little images of what we would like England to be, aren't they? They're pandering to that image of what we'd all like to be, that sort of upper-class English person who's worried about fine wine and good food. And again, I mean, does this England still exist? I'm presuming there's a small minority that does. But
well, there are some people that are in that world that are posher than the royal family.
Yeah.
I can understand what the Queen and Prince Charles are saying, but there are some people. What? And I don't know what they're talking about either.
Well, I was never really aware of class and the English class system until I went to university.
Absolutely.
I became aware of it then.
Absolutely right. When I got to university and everyone sort of spoke like royalty, that's when I discovered I was probably working class.
But when I hear those people who do actually speak in that kind of, oh, Jeff, that sort of absurd, oh, rugger, oh, you absolute bloody bastard.
What though? I don't mind the mega posh people. I don't mind that. Ah, bloody hell, yeah, of course, take one. I don't mind one of those. What I don't like is the ones that stand around in all bar one with a rugby shirt with a collar up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those sort of, who are going to work in the city, and they're loud and think they're gentry, but they're not. It's that middle bit that annoys me more. They've got that confidence, but without any of the charm.
But that's the England that I think people think of when they think of it. It's the 4 weddings and a funeral England, and it's not the England I experienced and grew up in. So, what is your typical image of an Englishman now?
If I had to draw it for an alien, he'd be quite squat, quite sturdy, sort of no neck. Hairy.
Are you just thinking of yourself?
Do you know what? It would be my build with Carl's head.
Really?
And no neck, I think he's sort of balding and unshaven, and he's like a shaved caveman. I think he's tough, he'd have tats, he'd eat like a dog.
A Ray Winston type.
A sort of, that sort of,
and he's
Bob Hoskins, just squat, strong, tough, doesn't take any messing, built like a giant wombat.
It's the bulldog breed.
It is the bulldog breed. I am thinking of the bulldog breed.